Hey guys, I had a question about AP Calculus and how I do homework notebooks. So these are just spiral notebooks and it's just graph paper. I love it for when their homework has graphing. We're super fortunate that the school purchases these and then I get to give them out to the students. Today was the first day of school and what I do is I meet them at the door and I check them off for attendance, and then when they walk in the class, I tell them, hey, go grab the two papers on the back counter and then grab a notebook. Two handouts that they grab, it's the syllabus and the homework expectation handout. I have tape dispensers at all the tables, and as I'm checking other students in while they're waiting, I tell them to rip the first page out. And so on the first page, they rip the paper out and I tell them do it super carefully on the perforation line, because then they leave that little sliver that's attached to the spiral still, and they tape the syllabus to that little tiny sliver. I know it's so OCD and I sound ridiculous when I describe it to the students, and some of them are like, you want us to do what? But in the end, they love it because it keeps everything contained in the notebook. As they tape it in, it turns as it's part of the notebook. It's amazing. And the second page is the homework expectation handout, so they have it here for reference. And then right here I scanned a copy of one of my students' assignments. Shout out Jenna King, so they can see an example of how it should be labeled. And then, for example, today's lesson, we did the lesson, I know, on the first day of school. I like to establish that we're working hard here. The assignment for today was actually a worksheet, so they took it home, and then I'll have the tape dispensers out tomorrow when they come into class. The expectation is that they'll tape the worksheet in. And finally, tomorrow's lesson, the homework is out of the book. They'll access it on Canvas, but you can see they're gonna write it right into this. So I did this as a sample, but the way I have them do it is in pen. They label the heading as the section, the page number, and the problems, and then their name, and then they do the problems in columns. After they do each problem, we have a system, I didn't make this up, but they check the answer. If they got it right, it's 1 star. If they got it wrong, but they know what they did, then they do 2 stars. And if they got it wrong and they don't understand the problem, they put an X. And then I always tell the students that in calculus, it's essential that they make sure that they go back to all the problems that they had to put an X next to. Ask a friend or get help from me or go to tutorial to make sure they know how to do all those problems before the test. The way I do my grade categories is a little bit unconventional. So assessments are 90% of their grade, and then 10% is going to be their notebook checks. And the assignment category, I still enter it into the grade book, but it's worth 0%. And so the incentive is, so tomorrow when they come in, I'll have them put their homework on their desk, and that's the time where I'll have them check in with each other if they have any questions on the homework. I'll come around and stamp everyone's assignment based on effort and completeness. And then for their online grade, I'll actually enter the score 10 out of 10, but it's worth 0% in the grade categories. But what I tell the students is at the end of the unit, when they take their test, I look back to see if the student turned in all of their homework and has 10 out of 10s for every assignment. Then what I do is I give them a 2% boost